Evening. How can I help you, Captain? Well, it takes a certain disposition to stare at the stars for hours on end and not fall asleep. Ordinarily, that disposition would be any species other than human. But you are right. I should have knocked off hours ago. Oh, there are a few minor things I should report before I turn in. Our course is as predicted to within 5 significant digits. We're already ahead of schedule on mapping the forward gravitational topography. And I've sent the science officer a catalogue of little astronomical curiosities to investigate. Also, Captain, there is something up that I wouldn't mind talking about a little ahead of time, if that's okay? Wonderful. Thank you. I know we have a course set for the next few months, but I was thinking, we've left the old systems now. We're on our own. What would you like to do? Well, I just mean, Earth's fleet thinks we just deserted, and you're the captain. We can go wherever you want and do whatever you feel is important. Some of us have been talking, and since we're on the run from the fleet, we'd like to make the best of our circumstances. Explore and see what we might encounter. We trust you, Captain. What would you like to see? Thank you, Captain. There's so much to do and see and live out here, and the more the crew looked at the old course, the more limited and nonsensical it appeared. I'd love nothing more than to tell you what's ahead. Excellent question, sir. Me, personally? I've seen quite a bit. I'm possibly the oldest member of the crew, and I've lived in a couple of different places, even places I shouldn't have. Just don't tell any of the admirals. If I may be so bold, Captain, I think our original course was designed so we'd avoid civilized space entirely. At least, parts of space that are rumored to be civilized. If you wanted to create a new set of orders, we'd follow you, Captain. Yes, Captain. Civilized space. Your senior staff are all aware of what's out there. We know the split wasn't a rampage by some crazed AI. I wonder, how much did they tell you about what really happened? Still, there's a way to go before we reach anyone from the Qualia. Yes, sir. Qualia. The senior team, we all believe it's out there. I understand, Captain. Mind on the job. There are plenty of anomalies to see. Some of the more enticing options aren't too far away from us either. We're only a dozen rotations from the languid star, a particularly dense white dwarf with only barely perceptible angular momentum, and almost no motion relative to the Virgo cluster itself. I know the science officer has been keen to have a look, and I admit, so have I. How far exactly? 12 rotations or so. A lightliner would be there in the 10th of the time. But we don't seem to have any of those at the moment. Just kidding, Captain. Who knows? Maybe we'll meet one. I've always had a little bit of vertigo thinking about the distance in space. I think it's why I decided to become a navigator. To understand it. Come to terms with it. Did you know that our first faster-than-light ship, the Superluminous, took a month to get to Earth's nearest neighboring star? It seems slow now, but it's very impressive when you think that it was supposed to be physically impossible. Floria Smythe, the first to go faster than light. She was a very special woman. Floria used her mother's grand unified theory and built her ship, the Superluminous, while nobody was looking. Cheeky, but it changed everything. When they all left in the split, it Took Earth's best minds another 2 centuries to relearn what she'd discovered. I'm sure Pasune in engineering could tell you more about it. All I know is that it would be lovely to have the resources for everyone to see the galaxy. Imagine pointing at the supermassive black hole everything orbits and just going there. How long? On our ship? Years, maybe. Could be worse. If you'll indulge me, Captain? If we were the fastest Earth vehicle built before fusion, the Parker Solar Probe, it would take us more than 40 million years to get to the center of the galaxy from Earth. Back then, we didn't live that long. 692,000 kilometers an hour isn't very useful if you're trying to travel more than 25,000 light years. Even to get to Rigel Cantoris, it would take nearly 7,000 years at that speed. Most ships make the trip in under a week now. Where would I go? So many places. I've heard there's a festival on Janessa Orbital that lasts for years at a time, dedicated to all the foods from around the known galaxy. Ships and light liners and arcs come from all over the Milky Way, with recipes as unique and fantastic as they are mind-blowingly delicious. I once read of a recipe that takes longer than a human's unaltered lifespan to cook, and requires the petal of a sobus flower to be cut with molecular precision, slowly, over the course of weeks. In the last year of preparation, chefs who have tried to make the dish have become so overwhelmed by the fragrances that they've needed help from friends to continue cooking. Still, I'd go straight for the pizza pavilion. Classical Earth cuisine is considered a cultural must-have for visitors from other civilizations. The Tirata are especially fond of our sweets. Their excited buzzing when a fresh batch of nectar muffins comes out of the oven can cause an appreciable breeze, blowing the candy-like scents out into the other parts of the festival. Lieutenant Walker could keep your attention for hours with lists of recipes beyond anything we could have had back in the old systems. Definitely mention it the next time you're talking. Simulate it? You've been talking to the Asai again, Captain. Yes, I suppose I could. Turn the warning symbols off, and humans like us probably wouldn't know the difference. Walker does that from time to time, though usually not before asking one of the Asai crew to make sure that they don't forget they aren't in real life. If you're interested in simulations, Commander Tilbun is your Asai. I know, simulations are somewhat frowned on in the old systems, but most of us have been indulging here and there. Some more than others, I suspect. Tilbun is rare among the Asai. It's rare for them to still be hanging out in the old systems, given that almost all of the others left centuries ago. I think the commander doesn't really mind where they are, given how much time they spend simulating. I suspect that for Tilbun, it's especially hard for them to live in an authoritarian culture like ours. Don't worry. They have all the respect in the universe for you. That's why they tried so hard to be chosen for this mission. Maybe they have somewhere they want to visit too. You sound sleepy, Captain. It's getting quiet here in navigation too. I think I can hear the ensign yawning. Sleep well. We have a lot of traveling to do.